Hey everyone, my name is Ben, and welcome to the inaugural episode of Critical Thinking Christian. I think the name of this channel is kind of a dead giveaway for what exactly is going on here. You look in the description, you'll see kind of like the idea is that I am a Christian. I've been a Christian for almost 6 years, and I like to think. I like to debate in my mind a bunch of different topics, and try to figure out like how do I think about these rightly, coming from like a biblical worldview. And so to start off this channel with, like I said, my first ever episode, we're going to talk about probably the most out there, very, very well-known piece of literature that I just finished. I just read it for the first time. And everyone's probably heard of this if they're into political philosophy, but I'll skip the intro. It's Machiavelli's, Machiavelli's, The Prince. It's a very short, so the way I want to structure this, I'm going unscripted on all my videos. I'm going to talk about a book. I'm going to talk about an idea. I'm going to talk about a political event or some sort of dream. Not like a literal, like in my sleep dream, but just some sort of like goal. How do you do this thing from a Christian perspective? And so I'm in college, and so I took a class on political philosophy with Justice, and we didn't actually get to read Machiavelli. We read excerpts of Plato, like the Republic, Laws. The main focus was The Education of Cyrus, fantastic novel by Xenophon, the Greek dude, and then a lot of Nietzsche here and there, Marx, some essays, like Pericles' funeral oration. That's what it was. And then Francis Fukuyama's End of History essay from the 90s. I think that's literally everything. The gay science. We read a little bit of that. So, with all that being said, the way I want to structure this, obviously, like I said, it's unscripted. It's going to be a lot of rambling, a lot of just like verbal processing, ideas. I'll just kind of say like, this is what the book is about. The book, and then what do I think about it? I didn't really prepare any specific things. So maybe next episode I'll like actually like take notes and be like, oh, I should talk about this. So The Prince, very short, pretty digestible. I'm not a good reader, and so it took me I just did like 20-page chunks, and it's 80 pages. So four full sit-down lock-ins, and I was done. A very quick, very easy read. Could read it in literally like not even an afternoon. This guy this guy grew up in Italy, born in 1469, was a politician. Was he a good politician? Was he a bad politician? Did he suck at his job? That's kind of debated amongst a lot of different people. But with that in mind, I don't really care about any of that. I was just kind of, I want to peer into this guy's mind. What does he think about this? I know he himself was not a Christian, and kind of rejected like any sort of religion in general. And the premise of this book is that he's writing to one guy, and he's never really, at least when the book actually starts, he's not really like talking to the dude. He's just giving instructions, generally. The title being The Prince, he sort of uses the idea of a prince as like any one person who's looking to obtain power or is in line to obtain power. Um, it's very maniacal. I think the way that he talks. So he just kind of goes on a tangent for 80 pages about every single like way you can conquer a government, whether that's by like military force, crime, um, some sort of like inheritance, or because people like you. And so like all sorts of different things. He's like, these are all the different ways. And then he'll say a little blurb about like this is a thing that could happen, and then he'll list like he'll go like 2 pages of like here are a bunch of examples in history. And then he'll say, here's how you preserve power. Or here's how you like take power. Like here's how to do it, not if this happens. So it's very like spelled out for you step by step. Do this thing in order to control people. And so like thematically, it's like it is literally advocating all sorts of immorality. And this is where we get into like here's the Christian view, at least coming from my perspective. Ditch morals, do whatever it takes. So like I think one of my favorite lines, he's like, if you acquire, like if you're really close to like acquiring a civilization as like it becoming a tyrant over that, he's like, you have to devastate them. That's like one of your only options. You either have to devastate them, completely manipulate them, or just like give up, in order to like gain control over it. On a similar vein, he's like, if you're trying to get like really, really like strict control over a government, he says that you have to commit every atrocity necessary all in one sweep, in order to take that power. He's like, you do it all in one go, and then you never do anything like that again, so that they get so used to you being nice after you've done all that horrible stuff, they slowly forget. And it's like some of the most like mind-boggling stuff, because it's stuff that the things that Machiavelli says, they're not at all socially acceptable, at all. But is he wrong? Wrong in the sense of like, is it like technically correct? Like this is how you could go about it. And this is not me advocating at all, because I think if anyone does this stuff and follows like the teachings of Machiavelli strictly, they are a bad person. Like they are objectively just like antisocial personality disorder level narcissism, just like fully self-centered, fully bent on just getting power. And that's just not how a Christian should live. Obviously, I think being a Christian should pretty much like put you in your place. Should humble you pretty good, because you realize, hey, I am completely screwed over because I am such a mess and I am in need of a savior. And that's the glorious part about the gospel. It's like, in our need, in our sinfulness, in our rebellion against God, he proved his own love for us, and that while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. So that's the beautiful part about reading this, is like sometimes it's hard to read these kinds of things, because it's like, this guy is telling me I should do this. Do I listen to him? No, you don't. You shouldn't. And if you do, then that sucks. And I don't think I'd want to be friends with you. So let's talk. Like that's the idea. Is like he's just telling people how to manipulate. He talks a lot about like you have to have the appearance of being a good guy, but you don't actually have to be a good guy. He honestly advocates for you not to be a great guy, but at least appear to be a great guy. It's very similar to like Glaucon in Plato's Republic. He's saying that like justice is this it's this thing we do involuntarily in order to get like a wage of social acceptance. That's kind of the way he puts it. Um, and in this case, it's like you don't actually have to. He's saying you don't need to be a good person. You need to look like a good person um, in order to have like good control over a large group of people. And I don't think he's wrong. Like it's tragic. It's tragic because he is Machiavelli is advocating for wicked behavior towards other image bearers of the wonderful creator. Um, but it's like, there's like a weird level of dissonance that goes on in my mind when I'm reading this. It's like he's not really wrong. Like it's just not a good way of going about it. Like it's like if you, it all of it is just this crazy. Like it's just so how does someone get to a point where they're so bent on obtaining power? I think that's the thing that's the most mind-boggling thing about the whole Machiavelli thing. The Prince specifically. I haven't read any of his other stuff. I'm new to this, but it's just it's so demented. I'm honestly blown away by it. Um, yeah, yeah. The only things that I like particularly appreciated that he said was that you have to be a fox in order to sniff out traps, and you have to be a lion in order to scare off wolves. And the way he brought that about in like the book was very just like you need to be good at manipulating was the point. He's like you have to be able to lie well, you have to be able to see everything that can possibly go wrong. Take that out of context, right? So we're talking with this treasure I summoned thee. We're talking like that was a JJK reference. If we're talking specifically like, okay, here's this idea we've got going on with the government stuff, like being a dictator, being a tyrant. If we get rid of all the tyranny thing, strip it down to just the idea of being a fox to sniff out traps and being a lion to scare off wolves. That's kind of hard. Like not difficult. That's like tough. Like that sounds awesome. Very cool way of putting it. I was like, wow, this is well written too. Um, it's like, you gotta be a fox and a lion for these reasons. And I'm like, yeah, but like then I'm like, being a tyrant, nah, that's not cool. Um, so a lot of he throws a lot of one-liners in there that are kind of like that make you feel like powerful, and then you realize, wait a minute, this guy is terrible, and then you have to take a step back. Um, would I recommend reading this if you struggle with like control? If you like, let's talk real talk, like Christian lingo sort of conversation. If your sin struggles are like mainly like control, uh, like hell bent pride, um, this might not be the best read because I think it can be something that like pulls on your heart a little bit and tugs you away from God. If you don't, and you just like I struggle with pride. Um, I find reading other people's ideas really interesting. And it helps me like support, like not support. It helps me better understand why do I believe the things I do. Um, then if you're in that situation, that's fine. Like there's just a degree. I think you just gotta know like your limit with how prideful is your heart, how much do you desire control in your day-to-day life. Probably wouldn't read this, especially if it's like control over people, which is kind of crazy, but like not even just kind of like that's just crazy. Um, but if that's something you struggle with, don't read it. I I don't think I could recommend it to anyone. Like it's just kind of him going on and on and on, like, about politics and like control. No one needs to read this. No one needs to read this unless they're really like, you shouldn't read this unless it's purely for like, I just want to know what this guy thinks. That's what I went into it with. If you were like, man, I really want to know how to be a better like dictator, please do not read this, because you are going to go down a path that is met only with hellfire and brimstone, so to speak. But the Lord is still gracious and kind, so don't forget that. There's forgiveness. Don't abuse it, though. Yeah, this book is just whack. I didn't enjoy it like I thought I would. And my professor was like, oh yeah, like Machiavelli this, Machiavelli that, like it's kind of funny. I mean, like there's humorous aspects to it, but it's literally just like narcissism 101. This is the peak male manipulator book. It's not American Psycho. It's not 48 Laws of Power. This is, it's disgusting. So, read your Bibles. Don't get too caught up in worldly philosophy. I think that's in Colossians. I think about that verse a lot when I read these kinds of things. Like, I don't want to get too caught up in it. But I hope you all enjoyed me kind of rambling. Next episode, I will, whatever I go over, if it's a book, I will write notes of specific points, of things that I want to like talk about. But hope you all have a wonderful day, whatever time of day you're watching it, a wonderful evening. I'll see you in the next one.